Students like to take ownership and find meaning in the projects that they're doing.
Research projects on display at Anoka Ramsey Community College. More on the first ever Oscars event held this week. Plus, several residents displaced after an early morning apartment fire. What authorities say is to blame. But first,
that should be their number one focus, is driving and driving alone and not the phone.
A statewide crackdown on distracted driving. That tops CTN News this Friday, April 15th, 2016. Thanks for joining us. It's one of the fastest growing dangers on our roads, motorists texting while driving.
And if you aren't careful, you could be seeing the lights of a squad car in the rearview mirror. CTN's Jordan Rylands joins us now with more on the crackdown. Jordan?
Steve and Karen, more than 300 law enforcement agencies are working overtime to enforce Minnesota's distracted driving law as a part of a statewide campaign to crack down on a growing problem.
She was texting with both hands.
We've all seen it, and many of us are guilty of doing it, texting while driving.
They're not paying attention, they're weaving in their lane, they're crossing the center line or the fog line, and it's just like you're following an intoxicated driver.
The state's current distracted driving enforcement campaign is driven by statistics. Law enforcement officials saw a 65% increase in the number of distracted driving citations issued from 2014 to 2015.
Do you know why I'm stopping you today at all?
Texting typically takes your eyes off the road for 4.6 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving an entire football field blindfolded.
The consequences are tragic when you get these accidents that kill people or, change their lives forever with a serious injury just because someone's got their, trying to read a text or send a text or an email while they're trying to drive their car.
According to the U.S. government website for distracted driving, at any given moment across America, approximately 660,000 drivers are using cell phones or manipulating electronic devices while driving, with related crashes killing nearly 3,200 people in the U.S. in 2014.
Are you aware of the current campaign they have all right now for texting while driving or distracted driving?
Law enforcement officials across Minnesota will be looking for distracted drivers in an effort to educate them on the dangers of texting while driving.
All right, drive safe, keep your phone, put it away, put it in your purse or shut it off until you pull off the road or something. Be safe, okay? All right.
The Minnesota Department of Public Safety wants to remind motorists that it is illegal for anyone under the age of 18 to use a cell phone in a car, except to call 911 in the case of an emergency. Now, if you are caught texting while driving, you are facing a $50 fine for your first offense and $275 for subsequent offenses. Steve and Karen?
All right. Thank you, Jordan. Occupants of 4 units at a Coon Rapids apartment building have been displaced following a fire this week. Firefighters were called to the Pine Point Apartments on Hanson Boulevard early Thursday morning after a tenant spotted a deck on fire. The flames made their way up the side of the building and into the roof, causing structural damage to 4 units. Investigators say a discarded cigarette fell between the boards of the deck, and weather conditions, including strong winds, helped fan the flames.
If you're smoking, make sure you have your cigarettes put out in a metal container, metal bucket with sand, and make sure you put them out with the sand. And also it's important to clean them out like once a week, to where if you have 20, 30 cigarettes in there, that's way too many. You need to get that fuel load out.
Fortunately, nobody was hurt, but residents had to evacuate the building for several hours. Damage is estimated at a minimum of $250,000. It will be at least a month before occupants can return to the affected units.
The damage has already been done, but police continue to investigate an apparent prank that caught employees of a Coon Rapids Burger King off guard. Employees of the business proceeded to smash out the windows of the business on Northdale Boulevard around 9:30 Friday night after receiving a prank call. The caller allegedly told the manager they needed to break the windows to relieve the pressure of explosive gas inside the business. One employee suffered a minor cut while breaking the windows. Authorities say the police and fire departments would never call a residence or business to ask them to take action of any kind. Similar pranks have been pulled on other businesses around the country. Police hope these surveillance photos lead to the arrest of a man believed to be responsible for 2 armed robberies in Coon Rapids. The latest incident happened just after 10 Monday night at the Marathon gas station on Crooked Lake Boulevard. A man entered the gas station, pulled out the gun, and demanded money. He fled with the cash, and a search of the area turned up empty. Investigators believe it's the same man responsible for an armed robbery at Go For It Gas on East River Road. That happened March 25th. A reward is being offered with anyone for information is call Detective Mike Plankers, 763-767-6559.
An old strip mall on the Coon Rapids-Blaine border is getting a makeover. Recently, crews began tearing down the space in Oak Park Plaza that used to house Jubilee Foods and Crest Cleaners at 109th and University Avenues. They are making way for a new 45,000 square foot Cub food store, which will be under construction by this summer. No date has been set for the store's opening. Triland Properties is investing about $12 million to renovate the center, which is currently almost 70% vacant. Good news for pastry lovers in the North Metro. Last Sunday, Hans Bakery opened its third location in the Twin Cities off Highway 65 and 105th Avenue in the city of Blaine. The bakery is open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Hans Bakery was brought back to life just over 2 years ago when Kelly Olson bought the old building on 5th Avenue in Anoka. Her second location opened a year later in Orono. Well, years worth of research projects were on display in Coon Rapids this week.
Dozens of students at Anoka Ramsey Community College showcased studies on wildlife food origins and physical therapy methods in the first ever Oscars event. CTN's Joe Nelson found out what went into the work and the projects and how students shared them with the public.
The question, I guess, is where Eastern Wolves came from. My project was raising money for the Alzheimer's Association.
We accept poetry from all across the nation.
For the first time, Anoka Ramsey Community College students from all departments had a chance to present months, if not years, of findings at the Outstanding Scholarship, Creative Activities, and Research Symposium Wednesday.
Last year we had a small symposium just specific to the biology department, but there were so many cool projects going on in other departments that we needed to expand it college-wide this year, and we're hoping it becomes an annual event.
65 students' messages were delivered through cardboard, screens, and voices.
I'm just so proud of our students here and all the work that they've done and how professional they are in the presentation of it.
For an ethics class project, ultra runner Andrew McGears decided to do a 12-hour run to raise awareness and funds for Alzheimer's disease. He saw his grandmother suffer through it, eventually losing her battle with the disease.
Just because something seems impossible doesn't mean it is.
He says the result was 75 miles ran and $800 raised for research. Second-year student Tyler Lang says he appreciated the chance to offer his findings on wolf and coyote hybrids.
It's really good to have this kind of situation where students can just come around and ask questions and to expose people just to science concepts or ideas or basic understanding to try to expand their horizons.
We see students that get engaged and that continue on beyond the semester when they first become involved, that take on a piece of ownership and continue that as part of directed research or independent research.
At Anoka Ramsey Community College, Joe Nelson, CTN News.
The Oscars event features students from 7 different departments. Anoka Ramsey hopes to grow the research showcase and make it an annual event.
Theater students at Anoka Ramsey are taking the stage for their spring play this weekend.
Just what you need, Charlie. Your own personal force retreat.
Students are performing the comedy The Foreigner this weekend and next. It's written by American playwright Larry Shue and is set in a fishing lodge in rural Georgia. The story centers on a pathologically shy young man overcome by fear at the thought of making conversation with strangers. So a friend of his tells everyone he's from an exotic foreign country and speaks no English. That's when the hilarity ensues.
I often say it's an incredibly fun night of entertainment, but it'll also be something that they'll talk about in their car on the way home, about the serious side of it.
You can catch The Foreigner tonight and Saturday night, and again April 21st, 22nd, and 23rd at Anoka Ramsey. The show starts at 7:30 p.m. Tickets can be purchased in advance at the college bookstore or at the door on the night of the performance.
The Coon Rapids Ice Center is gearing up for an annual tradition that celebrates the accomplishments of local skaters. This year's Ice Fantasy Show will run from April 21st through the 24th. The theme is Skating Through Candyland. The program features a variety of skating performances set to music, as well as the popular father-daughter number. Skaters range in age from 4 years to adult. There will also be several guest performers. Tickets can be purchased at the door prior to each performance. For more information, log on to CoonRapidsIceCenter.com. Also coming up, the Green Expo, which will take place Saturday, April 23rd from 9 to 2 at the National Sports Center. The Green Expo is designed to give the public a better understanding of what sustainability really means and looks like. Local businesses, environmental experts, and others will be on hand with information and resources. There's also going to be some used sports gear up for grabs. Admission is free.
That's a good time. Lots of stuff this time of year to go to.
Yes, it is. All right. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again next week.